This is the New Indian's editorial take on global and India's issues. Today we're going to talk about Ilhan Omar, the US Congresswoman who's been booted out from the US Foreign Affairs Committee by the Republicans. Well, my dear friends, do you remember 2019? I was there at the US congressional hearing on Kashmir, where Ilhan Omar actually barged into the House with a script which was targeted against me. While I spoke truth to power and exposed how Pakistan's cross-border terrorism had victimized both Hindus and Muslims in Kashmir, and how the Western media gave a free pass to Pakistan, Ilhan Omar, on the other hand, stood there as a shill of Pakistan's jihadi terrorism and tried to gag me. She tried her best to censor my point of view and accused me of being a mouthpiece of India. Well, actually, I do think that there is nothing wrong with being a mouthpiece of India, because India does have the moral and the morally correct position on Kashmir. And as events have unfolded in the last few years, since 2019, when the government of India revoked the Article 370, which guaranteed special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and in fact the whole Foreign Affairs congressional hearing was initiated in view of the decision that the government of India had taken with regards to Jammu and Kashmir. The entire panel that day, where Ilhan Omar tried to censor me, was a setup against India, was a setup against innocent Muslims and Hindus of Kashmir who've been victimized, who've been brutalized by Pakistan and Pakistani cross-border terror. And in the last few years, I have been vindicated. In fact, you would be surprised to find out that I, at the time, stuck my neck out not only in Indian mainstream press, but also in the foreign press. I constantly said that the decision to nullify Article 370 and to reorganize the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which also involved detention of the rabble-rousers, detention of every single so-called leader in Kashmir who was threatening violence, and everybody who had actually justified Article 370 and justified separatism in Kashmir. At that time, Ilhan Omar and her likes in the US, which included Pramila Jayapal, which also included some lesser known people like Natasha Kaul, Angana Chatterjee, very dubious characters, but they were there in that panel that day in the US congressional hearing. And today we have Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, who are the main leaders of the opposition in India. We just saw them just a couple of days ago. We saw them enjoying themselves in snow in Kashmir. We saw some big rabble-rousers like Arfa Khanum going out there in Kashmir, shooting, photo shooting and showcasing the normalcy in Kashmir. You see the irony there. This entire lot, a lot of them in 2019, whether it was the opposition in India or people like Ilhan Omar in the United States, Natasha Kaul in the United Kingdom, Angana Chatterjee, the dubious character who was actually working with a convicted felon in the US. All these people who were shouting from the rooftops and accusing India of being the bad player, of being the oppressor in Kashmir, they all have been proven wrong, and I have been proven right about the decision that the government of India took in 2019.